Logging provides assurance by proving that key controls actually operate over time. Every access event, policy enforcement, and configuration change should leave a trace that reviewers can confirm independently. Without complete logs, an organization cannot demonstrate continuous compliance or respond effectively to incidents. R2 emphasizes both coverage and quality, what is logged, how long it is retained, and how readily it can be analyzed. Good logging allows reconstruction of events without guesswork. It also supports metrics that drive program improvement, such as failed logins or blocked changes. A well-architected logging strategy becomes the connective tissue of governance, translating activity into accountability. It shows that systems behave as documented and that deviations trigger visible responses rather than hiding in shadows. Time synchronization across environments ensures that events from different systems can be correlated accurately. Even a small drift between servers can distort investigations or make it appear that controls failed. Synchronization through a network time protocol hierarchy keeps timestamps uniform across on-premises and cloud systems. This includes endpoints, virtual machines, security appliances, and application servers. Evidence for R2 includes time synchronization configurations, drift reports, and central monitoring dashboards that confirm offsets remain within defined tolerances. During audits, synchronized time simplifies traceability. A single timeline can reconstruct complex incidents without ambiguity. Accurate time is the silent foundation of trustworthy logging. Without it, even perfect data loses credibility. Authentication and access event logging sits at the heart of user accountability. Every login, logout, authentication failure, and privilege escalation must be recorded with username, source, destination, and timestamp. Systems should log both successful and failed attempts to show patterns of misuse or brute force attempts. Centralized identity services, like Active Directory or SAML-based single sign-on, should feed these events into the SIEM for correlation. Correlated access logs help identify anomalies such as a user authenticating from two distant locations within minutes. Assessors reviewing R2 evidence will expect to see examples of these logs with consistent fields and retention aligned to policy. Logging who accessed what, when, and how proves that identity governance and enforcement controls actually work in practice. Administrative actions and configuration changes must be logged to maintain integrity and detect misuse. This includes system updates, privilege assignments, security policy edits, and audit setting modifications. Logging these events shows who altered what configuration and whether those changes were authorized. Administrative consoles should have audit trails that cannot be cleared by the same users who generate them. In R2 reviews, missing administrative logs are a common cause of remediation because they hide potential tampering. For example, when a firewall rule changes or an encryption setting is disabled, the logs must show who made that change and link it to an approved ticket. Accountability here prevents disputes and proves operational discipline in environments where high assurance is required. Endpoint telemetry and log forwarding extend visibility to devices where users and malware intersect. Endpoints, desktops, laptops, mobile devices, and servers must collect logs on process creation, driver installation, file changes, and security events. Endpoint detection and response tools can forward these to the SIEM in real time. Without endpoint telemetry, incidents remain partially invisible, especially in hybrid work models. Forwarding agents should compress, encrypt, and authenticate traffic to prevent tampering in transit. Evidence includes endpoint configuration policies, forwarding logs, and dashboards showing agent health. R2 assessors will ask for coverage statistics demonstrating what percentage of endpoints actively report telemetry. The higher and more consistent that number, the stronger your assurance narrative becomes. Network flow and domain name system logging provide contextual insight into how systems communicate. Flow records capture who talked to whom, on which ports, and how much data moved, while DNS logs reveal name lookups that often precede command and control connections. Together, they create a map of normal behavior and a basis for anomaly detection. Central collectors or cloud-native flow analyzers should feed this data to the SIEM for correlation with endpoint and firewall logs. Reviewers expect network telemetry to cover key segments, especially those carrying sensitive traffic. For instance, flows between production and management networks must be visible and auditable. Reliable network-level logging turns abstract connectivity into verifiable security boundaries. Application logs capture what business systems actually do, transactions, errors, and exceptions that signal security or integrity problems. Each critical application must produce logs that include user identifiers, session tokens, and meaningful event descriptions. Developers should ensure sensitive data, like passwords or full PHI, never appear in plain text. Application owners are responsible for forwarding these logs to the centralized platform. R2 assessors often check whether application logs can reconstruct an event, such as a failed transaction or access denial, confirming both traceability and error handling. Logging at this layer closes the loop. Infrastructure logs show activity, and application logs show intent and outcome, completing the assurance picture. Centralization platform health and scaling ensure the SIEM can ingest, process, and store logs without loss. Overloaded collectors or misconfigured agents lead to gaps that undermine credibility. System health metrics, queue lengths, throughput, and disk utilization must be monitored continuously. Implement redundancy, high availability, and load balancing to sustain ingestion even during spikes or outages. Evidence includes performance dashboards, capacity planning documents, and screenshots showing active replication or clustering. R2 reviewers will verify that logs remain intact during maintenance or failover events. A healthy central platform turns logging into a dependable utility rather than an unpredictable dependency. Parsing, normalization, and enrichment pipelines convert raw logs into structured, usable data. Parsing extracts fields like IP addresses, usernames, or event IDs. Normalization maps these to common schemas so queries and alerts apply across vendors. Enrichment adds context such as asset classification, geolocation, or threat intelligence scores. This pipeline ensures consistent meaning. Login failure reads the same across systems. Maintaining documented parsing rules and transformation logic allows assessors to see how raw data becomes analysis-ready. Logs without structure waste analysts' time. Structured pipelines turn diverse telemetry into a unified evidence language that demonstrates mature data handling at R2. Retention periods and storage governance guarantee that logs remain available long enough to meet assurance and investigative needs. R2 expects written retention policies defining duration, archive format, and disposal methods. High-value security logs may require retention of 1 year or more, depending on regulation. Storage systems must preserve integrity with write-once configurations or immutability settings that prevent tampering. Evidence includes policy excerpts, archive configuration screenshots, and proof of recent retrieval tests. When retention is balanced with governance, storing enough but not too much, organizations maintain both compliance and operational efficiency. Lost logs or incomplete archives signal control breakdowns. Reliable retention signals maturity. Access controls for log repositories protect the integrity of evidence. Only authorized analysts and administrators should have read or management permissions, enforced through multi-factor authentication and role-based policies. Write and delete privileges must be restricted, and all access must itself be logged. Regular reviews ensure no orphaned accounts linger. Encryption at rest and in transit preserves confidentiality. In R2 assessments, reviewers may request access lists or permission screenshots to confirm separation of duties. Controlled access demonstrates that the same rigor protecting operational data also protects the very evidence proving compliance. Logs without protection are just as risky as unguarded systems. Dashboards, alert thresholds, and routing transforms stored logs into real-time defense and audit visibility. Dashboards should highlight key performance and risk indicators, failed logins, unpatched systems, anomalous traffic, and alert when thresholds are breached. Routing ensures alerts reach the right team without delay, using escalation chains and ticket integration. Balance sensitivity to avoid alert fatigue while ensuring no critical events slip by unnoticed. Maintain evidence showing alert configurations, incident tickets, and performance reports. In R2, assessors view operational dashboards as living proof that monitoring is active, not theoretical. Visualization and alert routing turn static evidence into dynamic assurance that the organization sees and responds to its environment. A reliable, reviewer-friendly architecture ties all these elements together. It gathers logs from every relevant source, synchronizes them in time, processes them consistently, stores them securely, and presents insights clearly. It includes policies, retention, and access controls that match the organization's risk profile and regulatory needs. Most importantly, it produces evidence automatically, configurations, dashboards, and alerts that demonstrate control health every day. In the R2 framework, passing is not about tool brand or data volume. It is about clarity, traceability, and discipline. A well-built SIEM architecture proves not just that you log, but that you understand, protect, and act on what you see.